In this video, we're going to implement rendering groups on the home page properly with the status for the currently authenticated user, whether that user is admin or a regular user of this group. Now let's comment all the changes what we made, and we have just implemented creating new group. And we have several new files here as well. So this group controller has been created, the group request. We don't have yet group update, but we're going to still comment this. We have this group resource. Maybe we don't need to comment this. I don't know. We have this group controller, and yes, so group modal as well. Awesome. Let's give it proper message. Implement creating group. Okay. Now we're gonna render display all the groups user is part of on the home page. But first of all, I'm gonna properly give a proper position to this new group button, because this position is something I don't like on smaller devices. On larger, it is fine. I'm gonna put this next to this search button, search input. So let's go into where is group list. We have this new group button. I'm going to take this out from here. Then we have group list items. Here's the input. I'm going to put this next to the input, but I am going to give it, I'm going to put this inside a div with flex, and let's give it gap1 or gap2. This new group modal is not defined here, so what I will do is just get this group modal from here and put this in the group list items here. And we obviously need to remove this group modal from here, and the show new group modal needs to be removed from here, and the ref needs to be removed as well. And we're gonna put all of them here. Now let's have a look. We see this new group here. However, this button needs some minimum width. W mean, let's give it 120 pixel, if that's enough. Let's give it fixed width. Probably I did this on a desktop. Okay. Let's go on the group list and have my groups, and this button can be removed. Okay, good. There's some margin on the input, which I think we need to remove. Margin top. And we're going to give this margin top to the parent element. It is working very slow at the moment. Okay, this is nice. On mobile, this is actually looking good. Let's see how this looks on desktop. So I'm going to zoom out, and we see this new group here, typed search. I think this is also not bad. Yeah, I'm going to leave it as it is right now, and let's implement now rendering correct groups right here. And we're going to do this on the home page, but let me actually make commit message first. So what I actually did is moved this create new modal inside the group list items, but I think we have to do a few more things. No, let me just try. The modal is opened, test group hit on submit. The group was created. If we check the database, where are groups? The latest group is test group, which has ID 10, and inside the group users, we see group ID 10. Okay, this works correctly. Now, let's commit everything. Give proper position to new group button. Now I need to close everything, and I'm going to open home controller, because this is the place where we render everything. So from here we are only passing posts, but we need to now pass groups as well. Okay, how are we going to do this? Let me think. We're selecting posts, and this is also used when we load more posts. But when it's a load more functionality, this if is satisfied and posts are returned. So probably we should select groups right here. And I'm going to find all the groups the currently authenticated user is part of. So we're going to write group query. We are going to do, we want all the groups the currently authenticated user is part of. So we're going to do inner join. I was thinking whether we needed left join or inner join, but we need inner join. And we need to, or we just need join, and we need to join into a group users. Let's give it an alias GU, for example. We are group user group ID equals group ID. And we also need to write a where the currently authenticated user, where the group user ID is the currently authenticated user's ID. Okay. So where the user ID should be this, the currently authenticated user. And we also need the status needs to be approved. Okay. So we need another where status needs to be approved, and we have group status enum, and we're going to use approved value here, and we are going to call get. We are simply gonna query all, so let's just call get. This will return all the groups, and then we are gonna pass the collection. So groups will be group collection. Actually, what am I doing? That should be group resource collection. We're going to pass groups. Okay, we're going to accept those groups on the home page. So let's just open home.view. We accept posts, but we're going to accept now groups as well, which is going to be array. Now I remember why like in previous video we had this issue with a post list that we were passing a post from here, but we were accepting posts as an array. So I was thinking why this happens, because actually we are accepting posts as an object, and these posts will have a next and previous and links as well, but we are passing the props data. This is the only thing we are passing. Because of that, inside the post list we didn't have this next and previous access on the next and previous until we used this from the page props posts, which is totally fine. So we made this correctly, but I was thinking that the post list was directly associated to the wrote and rendered from the controller. That's why I was confused in previous video. But now it is very clear. So let's just print groups. Just above the group list, we're going to pass, just print the groups. Let's see. Group users, GU doesn't exist. Okay. I think we need as GU. Groups ID. Okay, now we have 1 and 2 groups, which is totally correct. So we have multiple groups, but the previous groups, when these previous groups were created, we did not have making record inside the group users table implemented yet. And that's why the previous groups are simply without the user. We don't obviously need those groups, so I can delete them. And I will go in the group users and I will change the status into pending right now. And this should return only 1. Okay, awesome. And what do we have here? We have the ID, name, slug, auto approval, about. I think we need the status information, not the status, but the role information as well. What role the current user has inside that specific group. We are making a join into group users, so we are going to select everything from groups, plus we're going to select group user role. What do we need? That should be GU role. That's correct. We don't need, I think, token expired date. No, we don't need, I think we don't need anything else. We just need to know if, maybe we can just query status as well. If in the future we decide that we want to query pending groups as well, like this. Okay, but if we go in the group resource, do we have access on this status and role at the moment? I don't know. So this is something we need to return and figure out. I'm just going to return role here. And then if I reload, I see status and role. Okay, this is already good. Now I think we can get rid of this dummy data and we can just display the groups. However, we need the URL for the group as well, the avatar. The avatar URL as well as the cover. Let's open user resource. I want to open user resource. And from here we are returning cover URL and avatar URL. So let me just return cover URL. At the moment, I'm gonna return random URL, the random image. So we need group list, and here we have this URL, and I'm going to return it right here. The actually this should be avatar. I think we called the column thumbnail, so we can call this thumbnail URL. Thumbnail URL. Okay, cool. Let's go in the group list items, and now we need to delete everything but leave only 1 and put this inside the loop. Okay, I think I deleted 1 extra div like this. I'm going to add a v4 here, but this group items does not have, group list items doesn't have a groups array. So let's define props. We're going to accept groups here, which will be array, and we're going to iterate over our groups. So group of groups, and we need to pass the image, which is going to be group thumbnail URL. We're going to pass title. Basically, why don't we pass the entire group object? So we're going to accept group here, which is going to be object. Then we're going to get group thumbnail URL. We're going to get group title and the description. Okay, the description of the group is the group basically doesn't have description. It has about, which is very large text. Okay, what we should probably do is just get the first several characters from this description, from this about. So this is how I will do it. In the group resource, we return about, but I will return description as well, which will be str helper. I want to truncate words. I will just get first 20 words from this about. Okay, then we have the description, which we can use this here. Image, title and description can be removed as props from here, and from the group list items we are going to just pass the entire group object, and we have it like this. Now let's have a look in the browser. I'm going to reload this, and inside my groups I don't see anything for some reason, but let's just print groups here. And if I go in the group list items, I can these groups, I need to remove it. Yeah, I need to pass these group lists here. So we have groups, which I'm going to pass into groups. Define props groups is going to be array. Inside these group list items, so yeah, we need to pass those groups. So groups will be groups. So basically from the home view, we're reading the groups and passing into group list. Inside the group list, we have group list items mentioned in two places. One is for desktop, second is for mobile. And we're passing those groups inside this group list. We are iterating over our groups and just rendering them. I think this should work. Okay, we have a name and description. Both are null at the moment. Let's go in the group item. We are using title, but we should output name. This is our test group. What about the description? Let me open the groups table and let me generate lorem ipsum text. And I'm going to take this. Let's put this inside both descriptions. Inside about, and we should see the description here as well. Several few words, the first few words. Okay, I think this is good. Now we have these groups which is coming from the backend. I think the number of words is a little bit too much. Maybe we can just output 10. And we need to also identify in some way what role the currently authenticated user has inside that group, or what is the status of the current user inside that group. We have the status and role, and we just need to use this in the group item. Somewhere, I want to just write the role as well as the status. So I'm thinking to do this right here on this area. Okay, what if I create another div here? I'm going to give it flex and justify between. Then I am going to write if group status is approved, then I am going to show group role. Okay. Otherwise, I am going to show pending or not approved. Something like this. So right now I see admin. By the way, this one needs flex 1. So now this is admin. Let me create another group. Laravel developers. Okay, we need to add this inside the groups array. And then this is inside the group list or in the list items right here. From the modal, we can wait for when the new group is added. And we need to push this. Okay, when the group is created, I can emit create, and I can pass the result, which is the new group. Let's define emits here. We have emits, and let's just put a new event here, create. Then in the group list item, we are listening to create on group create. This is function. Then on group create, we accept group here, and we need to put this inside groups array. So groups unshift, I'm going to add group on the first position. Now let's reload, and we're going to see two groups. Let's add vue.js developers. Okay, there's some error, groups is not defined. Yes, this is actually props groups. Let's reload. We see now 3 groups and test group 2. Props is not defined. Const props equals define props. Okay, now this should work. Fingers crossed. Test another group. Okay, this is not approved. What was returned? Role and status. Okay, we see thumbnail URL. We see name. This is not displayed here. Okay, I'm going to print what are these groups. Aha, I see. So from this modal, we are actually emitting the whole response, but what we need is the data. So we're going to destructure the response and get the data. because having a look right here, we see that the data is an actual response, but this entire res is the whole response with the status code, with the headers and so on. We just need data. So I'm going to provide data here. Let's test this. Let's actually remove these groups from the group list items, and another awesome group. Okay, now this gets added on the first position. We see that a role is not approved, which is right now correct, but we have to fix because from the backend we don't send what role and status there is. If we open right now group controller, we create that group user and then we are returning the group. However, I think on that group we are gonna set status to be group user data status and role equals group user data role. And one last thing, I'm going to go in the home controller and I'm going to change the ordering of the groups. So I'm going to provide latest. So latest group should be at the top. Okay, let's call this PHP developers group, and let's provide some lorem ipsum text as well. Excuse me. If you're watching this and if you're enjoying this, the single best thing what you can do right now is to hit the subscribe button. If you're already subscribed, then the best thing will be to like the video, because that really helps me and gives me the motivation to keep creating such free content. Sorry for interruption. Please go to the video. And this is added successfully, and we see admin here as well. Now group creation and outputting the groups works successfully. If I go in the group users, all of them are for role admin, but I'm going to change a couple of them into user. And let's see how this looks. We see admin, user. If it's a user, let's just don't output it. Okay. If it's approved, then we output the role. But let's put another if right here. If the group role is admin, then output that group role. Otherwise, let's don't output anything. Basically, I will see only those groups, admin on those groups on which I'm actually admin, but for some of them I won't see anything. But probably we should first see all the groups I am admin first, because probably I'm managing those groups. So instead of latest, maybe we need order by. I need order by group user role, group user role by descending. I'm thinking right now. Let's just order by group user role, and then we need another order by created at descending. Let's see, first we see admin groups, and then we see all the other groups. Okay, this is good. So those are the groups I am admin, and those are the groups are just regular groups. And for maybe for one of the groups where I'm user, my status is actually pending. Okay, I don't select pending groups, so I think we should select them. So I'm going to remove this where status equals approved, and I want to see pending groups as well. Not approved. Maybe we also need to order by, maybe not the create date, but we need to order by name. This makes more sense. As a second ordering, first we're going to see all the admin groups, and then we're going to see order by name. Okay, this is good. We are rendering all the groups, and we have also the role on that group, and this is good. In the next video, we're going to implement group profile page with cover and avatar images, similar to what we did on the user profile page.